I am the.
Hold.
I was going to say something that's not doesn't need to be held.
Oh, I thought you were gonna introduce yourself.
No, sort of, not really. I was saying that Dave is the prosecution this week. I am the defense, and joining us is Judge John Kadoff.
I kind of wanted to wish everybody a happy Life Day, and joined by all my friends.
Whatever that sound was you just made, don't do that again. And you're so lucky you're about 1,000 miles away right now.
I'm auditioning for a punch in the war, or my walk-on part in the war.
There we are.
But I feel like I'm having my lead role in the cage.
Yeah, I think we all are right now.
Yeah. This is the one time where there is a fair amount of divisiveness. As far as I'm concerned.
Last episode that we aired, our last week's episode was the Who, Kids Are All Right, but the last one that we actually have aired right now is Igby Goes Down, which was pretty controversial. But I think this one might be even more controversial than Igby Goes Down.
Perhaps. Although I will not get political in this one.
Right.
I will offer everybody up a happy Life Day.
Look at that. It's an actual Life Day orb. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the creation of this?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not quite finished. I want to put a black base around it instead of a base. But this is constructed out of materials that I was given by. Well, wasn't given the materials, but I was given the recipe of materials off of the Star Wars website.
Yeah, StarWars.com.
What?
StarWars.com.
Yeah, StarWars.com. And they give you some ideas. So I ran around and found a good snow globe, like do-it-yourself snow globe, and tea lights and rhinestones, and
Wow. So that for anyone who has yet to see the movie, we're going to I'm Dan Carlson, 1/3 of Us Three Blokes.
I'm John Kadoff, another third of Us Three Blokes.
Hi, I'm Dave Nesbitt. I've been drinking, and I am the dissenting opinion of Us Three Blokes.
Yeah. I've been drinking the Catalina lime mixer.
Oh, I should probably let you know what I'm drinking today.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I've got a Dagobah swamp cookie.
Yes.
And I have basically Dagobah slime juice.
Yes.
Or blue milkshake.
Canada here for a report on how
Pardon
much
me,
it costs.
sorry.
Oh,
that's okay. And then here I have the
Bantha milk.
It's a Greedo Caucasian.
Oh, okay.
Which makes no sense.
So where did the recipes for these come from? Did you make
I made them up.
Oh, they didn't exist before.
Oh, yeah.
No, these are brand new. And then I also have.
Is there a blue milk consistency to any of them, or?
Yeah, there's a blue milk consistency to the swamp juice. It's basically it's thickened blue milk.
Okay.
That's why I call it swamp slime. And then also, last but not least, I have a Sith drink here. It's kind of scary looking on the inside. Here, I'll figure it out. But yeah, this is.
Jesus. Are you sure you want to drink that?
This is a dark sunset.
Okay.
Okay, I have to be respectful of that, just as a matter of principle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not inclined to take a drink of that until I see someone else do it to prove that it's safe.
It's safe, but it's a strong Sith drink.
Okay. Is there alcoholic content?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is definitely alcoholic.
Nice. Okay. So the reason for all of this Star Warsifying of things, aside from the fact that John and I wanted to Star Warsify everything, is we just watched one of the greatest pieces of television entertainment of the last 100 or 50 years, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
The Star Wars Holiday
Special.
Hold on. I just got to pack my rifle. I'll be right back.
Already, he is already left.
Well, this will give us a chance to assert its positive qualities before we are roundly dismissed.
Yeah, this is called the Dark Sunset because it is.
Dan approves.
This is also alcoholic.
Did Dave leave for a legitimate reason, or did he leave for comedic reasons?
So yeah, this is Greedo Grog, actually, is what I call it.
Okay.
And there is a you can see me making this as well.
And we'll be including the recipes up on the Us Three Blokes website.
Yeah.
My primary, I just have one very, very big issue with this. I mean, hey, get as nerdy as you want with stuff. Make as much, Star Wars related stuff as you want. Have a grand old time. But when it comes to the holiday special, I think my primary issue here is that there's a basic lack of respect for the source material in how it's done production-wise and how it's written.
Well,
Also, all the primary cast members, with the exception of Carrie Fisher, really look like they would rather be anywhere else getting kicked in the shins by professional football players. And they only say that Carrie Fisher isn't like that because Carrie Fisher has no fucking idea where she is in this.
Okay, so all of them are fair comments, and some of them are factually based. But I would add, okay, so
I was 10 minutes into this and decided that a sleeping pill and Scotch whiskey was the best way to handle all of this. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I would like to point out that I've watched it numerous times, completely stone cold sober, and I will watch it again in the same condition. You really can't talk about this special without talking about how it came about. George Lucas was trying really hard to get a company off the ground and get The Empire Strikes Back financed, and he was knee deep in producing it. And CBS kind of came to him with an idea that, we'll get you some money and we'll do a Christmas special. And he thought, yeah, this will keep the brand alive for a year or so until I can get my sequel in the theaters. And
he thought, boy, what's the worst thing that could happen? And he found out.
Well, he originally intended this to follow a Wookiee storyline, and one of the cool things that Jim Henson later tried to do with the Dark Crystal was something that George was trying to do with this. I don't know if you ever watched the deleted scenes of the Dark Crystal, but they actually attempted early on to film it in a completely alien language with no subtitles.
Uh-huh.
The idea was to try to get you to be immersed in it and to get you to pay attention to body language and, and get your bearings in some other non-traditional narrative way. George is trying to do that. George is trying to do that here. In fact, the writers resisted it a lot, but he insisted. And the only miscalculation I think he made on that, or one of the biggest one, is that he decided to follow Wookiees who have no actual language structure other than growling and grunting. If he had maybe made it a Greedo family or something, they could have been like Totachito Solo, and maybe it wouldn't make sense to people, but they could still have some variety in what they were hearing. Instead, we get 8 minutes of yeah.
Which, by the way, is another big bitch of mine. But okay, keep going.
Okay, so having set a little bit of the context, I want to talk to you also about the ocean that we're swimming in here. The 70s network television. This is
variety shows.
Now, these were so
executives on mountains of cocaine.
Okay. Well,
and the decisions that go hand in hand with it.
Okay, so In the 70s, what people who are looking at this artifact now fail to realize is that all of us were always watching these variety shows, and most of them weren't very good. Like you'd have one or two really good skits in Hee Haw, or the Muppet Show. The Muppet Show is pretty consistently good, but Carol Burnett, you'd have some funny stuff, and Donnie and Marie was a big. Probably the most comparable, because they'd have one or two really great things, and the rest would suck. Sha-na-na.
Hey, Sha-na-na had the Ramones, which still puts that way, way ahead of this show.
Okay, well, this has got Jefferson Starship, so I'm pretty.
Okay, I have to admit, that was actually a highlight for me, because the ILM lighting on there is fucking awesome.
It is a great song. John actually bought me the song on 45. I have it in my room.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Because John rocks, I admit.
Yes. I love this special, unironically. I can see its faults, but I think there's a lot here to enjoy, to dig into. It's a great piece of history. It's not just a great piece of Star Wars history, it's a great piece of television history, because it shows you sort of the style of television at the time.
And I want to add something here.
Yeah.
The influences, unless you have that slotted for later.
Go ahead.
The influence that the Star Wars Holiday Special had, or has, is immense through our savior Dave Filoni and
Jon Favreau.
Our saviors Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. So these guys are, of course, as you know, making the Mandalorian series, and they are responsible for canonizing the Star Wars Holiday Special in several ways. First of all, Life Day, obviously.
It's mentioned in the pilot for The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yep, they legitimized Life Day. Go ahead, Dan. What are some other
Boba Fett's weapon is directly from the Holiday Special. It's never appeared anywhere else.
I think that's actually, I hate to admit this in public, but I think it is actually Boba Fett's first appearance in the Star Wars universe.
Although he had been in action figures slightly before that.
And he is in one of the deleted scenes, which now appears in the current rendition of Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Hey, he's clearly there. He takes.
I'm still saying his first appearance.
What?
His first appearance was several decades earlier, when the Holiday Special came on. You can't say that just because it was added in later to a movie that's a year older than that it's a newer.
Okay, so appearance. Hold on. Was he added in digitally, or was he in that deleted scene?
He was filmed, I believe, and then green screened in.
Okay, so he was added to A New Hope. He wasn't in the deleted scene.
He was not in the deleted scene, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so yeah, so you are right, Dave. That is absolutely the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Yes, but the point that I thought John was headed toward, and he can get back to the point he was on, but the one that I want to make is that this is one of the things that I love about this was that it came out in 1978. Most of us, only rich people had VCRs at this point. Most of us didn't have a way of watching things other than when they came on television or going to the movies. And this movie predicts the rise of Nintendo DS, because the kid's walking around with a little handheld device that he's watching stuff on. It predicts the rise of virtual reality helmets. We'll get into that in a minute. It predicts the rise of flat screen televisions everywhere. They're in every room of the house. The holographic chess. We now have holographic, VR helmets.
So we have holographic Tupac Shakur, Michael Jackson, and
Hide.
And who? Oh,
Hide from X Japan.
Yeah. And didn't they? Didn't Freddie Mercury? Don't they have a Freddie Mercury?
If they didn't, they should. I remember going to go see Queen with Paul Rogers, and they didn't do a hologram, but they did actually have Freddie on video opening up Bohemian Rhapsody for the show.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, so I only spent about a third of that show crying my eyes out. But okay, yeah.
But But what I was getting at there, so one of the big criticisms this movie gets is a scene that a lot of people consider cringeworthy, where Itchy, the grandpa Wookiee, is given a slightly pornographic. Well, we are to understand it's pornographic. Really, it's just Diane Carroll singing to him and kind of talking.
It's not just Diane Carroll singing to him.
She's talking a little dirty to him. He's doing a lot of rewinding and hearing her say, "Ooh, we do like that, don't we?" That kind of thing. So it is definitely supposed to give us the impression that he's watching pornography. But I would say that was a very knowing joke back in the 70s for parents that the children would not get. So it was a joke that was meant for the adults because
and the entire movie Shrek.
Yes, but the point of that joke was that it was really pointing to the fact that what was driving all the new technologies was the desire to look at porn. And if you think about it, that's what drove the VCR sales originally, because people wanted to watch pornography at home. It's what's helped sustain the internet for 20 years.
So I urge everybody just to look at the glee that Dan has in his face when he talks about the rise of porn.
Okay, so the glee is because people don't acknowledge it, and it's a piece of it's a piece of history that people don't. And the glee is that they actually addressed it in the movie. And knowing viewers at the time would have been, but most people now are just looking at it like horrible miscalculation. Here, Son Dan shows up with his little porn thing. He's like, "Hey, I brought you something." It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a little uncomfortable, but it's still within the realm of a family show because most kids are not going to catch that. Maybe kids today might, I don't know, but back then.
So our holiday special opens up with Han Solo and Chewbacca on the Millennium Falcon, headed for Kashyyyk. And
is it Kashyyyk, Kazook, or Kashyyyk?
I think it's Kashyyyk.
And the one guy in the special calls it Kazook. Yeah,
and that's definitely not it.
How much time are we going to spend noodling around about watching somebody pound a square peg into a round hole? I'm just curious. Okay, continue. I'm just going to shit all over this, just so you're aware.
That's okay.
So, combined with some, footage of from stock footage from Star Wars, and new footage of the duo on the Millennium Falcon escaping both some Star Destroyers and some TIE fighters. At first Solo wants to turn around, but Chewie says
family's waiting for him,
and convinces him to keep going. They do escape them. And then we get to see a little bit about about Chewbacca's family, his father Itchy, his wife Mala, and his son Lumpy.
Lumpa Rumpa Rump or something, whatever his
name. And which has me wondering, if maybe either Chewie was poly, or if he was just cheating on Mala with Maz Kanata.
I don't think just because she called him her boyfriend doesn't mean they actually were doing anything.
First of all, Lumpy is a little shit. He doesn't want to do any of the chores. He argues with his mom constantly. I was really surprised when he said to his mom. I mean, and Itchy was obviously not very happy about that either, because he had some things to say about it.
Yeah, but, so he was a little shit, but that his mom has to nag him to take the garbage out, and when he does, he decides to stand on top of a balcony that's several hundred feet above the forest floor and walk along it, risk his life. The perfect example for little children to follow when they're watching that movie.
Yeah.
And then we learn that she's making Life Day food, and Chewie's supposed to be there, and he's not. So we make a lot of phone calls to other cast members.
Yeah, I think the first call was to Luke and R2, and Luke was working on some kind of engine that kept fizzling out on him.
Yeah. And then
with his really funky eyeliner.
Well, you know what that was about? He actually had gotten into a really bad accident between the filming of Star Wars and Empire, and he had facial reconstruction surgery. So that makeup is actually to hide several scars. It's why the scar in The Empire Strikes Back is dealt with the Wampa attacking him at the beginning. That was not supposed to be in there. It was actually added to make sense of his injury.
I'm reasonably certain that he actually read the script for the holiday special and then crashed his car to try to get out of it. Now then, please continue.
He did try to get out of making the holiday special, but George kind of called in the favors from them.
I think that
I'm just picturing Harrison Ford pointing a pistol at his foot and going, "Really?"
Since we're stuck in a room with a bunch of Wookiees who growl at each other for 2 hours, the writers try to find any opportunity they can to bring other people that speak a language in to keep the story going. And the major recurring one is this trader named Son Dan, who operates a little store on Kashyyyk and is coordinating between Solo and the family to get Chewie back while stormtroopers and the Empire are sort of pushing their way into the house and trying to find contraband.
Yeah, and they know they're looking for Chewie at that point too.
They don't come out and say it, but there's definitely it definitely gives you an idea of what it's like to try to have a holiday celebration under a fascist regime.
Yeah.
Don't try to give this any more depth than it deserves. Move on.
Okay, man.
Move along.
Nothing to see here. These are not the droids you're looking for.
I got the impression that that's what was going on. Then
the Imperials did seem very, very Third Reich.
Yeah, everything about them, and then they tear the head off of the kid's stuffed animal.
Oh my God!
I'm to clean his
room. By that.
I mean, that was the most evil moment of television for me when they told him to go clean his room.
Yeah, they tear his room apart. They rip his bantha head, the head off of his stuffed bantha, and then they tell him to go clean his room.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then it's basically just killing time until Han arrives, and he does, and then
the killing of time was Lumpy watching the instructional video on how to build that transmitter.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Harvey Korman.
Hey, Harvey Korman's bored. Let's throw him in the middle of something. Okay, sounds great.
Harvey Korman had some fun little moments in this, like stir, whip, 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 stir, whip.
Yeah.
Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, 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 stir, whip, stir. Nope.
Why are you doing this?
I want to hit him for that.
The special landed in the number one spot in David Hofstadter's 2004 book. What were they thinking? The 100 dumbest events in television history. The problem is that, it's like sitting around and watching somebody decide to do a remix of your favorite album, but all they have is somebody who can't sing, a drummer who can't drum, and a kazoo. It really has that overall feeling to it.
Yeah.
All the parts don't. It feels as though they're trying to kind of exist within the Star Wars universe, and yet at the same time, there's a moment there where you realize whoever it was who wrote this had no fucking clue what the Star Wars universe actually was, and tried to shoehorn it into a 70s fucking variety show with all of these. And so, all of these different pieces come together where you can see them taking a forklift and trying to shove the whole damn thing into a place where it will fit. And there's not enough room, and it's all in the wrong shape.
So
Oh, and by the way, okay, sorry, go.
Oh, is there more?
Oh, don't worry, I'll keep ripping on this. Give me more to work.
Okay. I feel so. I'm taking into account the way it was made, the time it was made, everything like that.
I'm sitting here watching spanking porn videos just because it makes me feel better to consider what that executive getting whacked upside the ass with a cricket bat. Okay, continue.
So it was hired. So a director was hired. He was fired fairly quickly. They went over budget after like the Cantina sequence or something like that. They had to bring another guy in.
Oh dear me, they spent $1 out of the 5 that they were given.
It was $1 million budget. It was the highest budget of that time. What happened was they had to shut down for like a month or two, and a lot of scrambling was done to try to save the production, and they brought in a bunch of variety show writers, including Bruce Valanche, and they did what they could to get it back on. But it was, and they had to do it really fast because they had to get it done by November in time to air for the TV show. So for me, okay, so I made a little note here. So for me, it's like Howard the Duck. People always talk about how bad it is, but it's actually not that bad. It actually delivers everything it promises. It's got a talking duck. It's entertaining. It's got special effects.
Entertaining.
Howard the Duck.
Okay, but here's the thing. Howard the Duck existed in and of itself. It came from the comic book universe that Marvel created. But it didn't have anything preceding it, so it kind of set the bar for itself.
My point of
the holiday special follows a film that, excuse me, the holiday special follows a film that all of us as kids got completely lit up over. And I remember marking out for it as a kid because at that point in time, you could have written Star Wars on the side of a rusty can and I would have bought it. But as an adult, I just sit there and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck were these guys thinking?
I just my thing with Howard the Duck, my point was that a lot of people like Howard the Duck, but can't admit it because it's got this reputation as like one of the worst movies ever made, and it's clearly not. Anyone who says that has never seen The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies. Or even a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie, or, you know, like anybody who says Plan 9 from Outer Space is one of the worst movies ever made is, you know, like, it's certainly not good, but, you know, it's definitely entertaining. To me, if you get entertainment value out of it, you can't really call it bad per se. I mean, yes, it's not a great piece of art. It's certainly not a high point in Star Wars, but I think for people of a certain age like myself, it brings you back to that moment. You saw it when you were 7 years old. It's got kind of a Jackie Brown, Dazed and Confused hangout kind of feeling to it because you're watching your characters who aren't in any real jeopardy. Nobody's getting killed. It's very low stakes.
That stormtrooper was killed.
Yeah, but, you know, well, was he killed or was
he's a stormtrooper? That's their
he
fucking
fell 300
job.
feet off of the balcony.
It's in their job description to die. So
that and to be able to not aim with any degree of
well, not according to Obi-Wan.
My point is that actually there's a school of thought that they can actually aim quite well, but they were under orders to not actually kill the rebels because they were trying to track them, so they were supposed to miss. But we can get into that in another video. But my point is that it has kind of a hangout feel for me, like like Jackie Brown, where you just throw it in to hang out with your friends Luke and Han and Leia and Lumpy and Itchy.
How do you compare this to Jackie Brown?
Because Jackie Brown is a movie where I just throw it in to hang out with the characters. I don't really care what's going to happen. I just want to see them hanging out at the domicile and just chilling, you know. And that's kind of what the Wookiees are doing here. They're just kind of chilling. They're just like, hey, let's make some bantha rump.
I want to make something really clear here. I personally can see absolutely no parallel between the Star Wars Holiday Special and the movie, that disgusting movie, Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown is a good movie. Anyway, so it's like Jackie Brown or Dazed and Confused, where you're just putting the movie in to chill and spend some time with your favorite characters. It was the only chance you really had to do that because you didn't have a VCR back in the day, and it wasn't going to be on TV for 7 years. And so I say, press play on the Star Wars Holiday Special and enjoy it. Don't listen to all of the naysayers who
The Nesbits.
Don't listen
to the Nesbits out there.
don't listen to all the Nesbits who tell you not to enjoy this.
Look, enjoy what you want, but I am totally judging you if you do. I'm just saying.
I say press play. I thoroughly enjoy the holiday special. You know, it has its moments where I'm just like, oh God, get over with this already.
For me, I am a press. Okay, here's the thing that will surprise you. I am a press play on this because after this, you will see the entire world in an entirely different light. The Trump administration almost looks like it makes sense after watching this. But if you want an example of what it was about when we sit around, when those of us of Gen X sit around and talk about what a marvel this golden age of television is, you watch this and realize just how bad 70s TV really was at its core.
To me, it feels like Sigmund and the Sea Monsters or the Croft show. That was perfectly fine with the lower production values and the goofiness. And
it's not even like the production values to me. It's more a matter of, again, it feels like it feels very hastily put together. It feels written by people. Yeah, it was hastily put together, and it was written by people who had no real attachment to the source material. And as an end result, everybody who is a key part in a primary player in the Star Wars universe who is in this are sitting there reading this going, man, I'm firing my agent the second I walk out this door.
I think it's best viewed the way you would view like a Saturday Night Live episode hosted by Carrie Fisher, or a Donnie and Marie show that had a Star Wars guest, or the Muppet Show with Mark Hamill, where
and I would much rather watch a Donnie and Marie show with a Star Wars guest, because at least then it wouldn't feel like it was attached to something that I genuinely love.
Okay, but you're still giving it a press play.
I'm giving it a press play because, look, if we're going to sit around here and talk about a period of time and a moment in time, Jesus Christ, does this capture the late 70s on so many levels.
It does.
It really does capture that moment. Now, on the other hand, I just want to point out, I'm going to say press play on this, but I've warned you, it is a document of a period of time where that particular element of media was really, really low quality. I think we broke John.